Welcome to Maths for All. I'm Aisling Flynn. This is Rational Numbers 1.3, Adding and Subtracting Fractions. So we're asked here to add 1/6 plus 2/6. If you say it out loud, it sounds straightforward. Here's a diagram. We're adding 1/6 plus 2/6. Well, that must give me 3/6. Okay, at this point, I'm going to simplify that answer because it's possible. We learned in equivalent fractions, we can do this. The factor 3 is common to top and bottom, so dividing the top by 3, I get 1. Dividing the bottom by 3, I get 2. So it turns out 1/6 plus 2/6 gives me 3/6, but that is also equal to 1/2. And you can see that in the diagram below. This next question asks me to add 1/2 plus 1/3. Okay, so this is not quite so simple. I can't give an answer straight away because those two fractions are of different types. So we can't do right now because they're different. Okay, so what do? We're going to divide them up to make them the same. Okay, so I'm going to cut that half and that whole circle into 6 pieces. Okay, and I'm going to cut the third in its circle into 6 pieces. Okay, and you can see that a half makes 3/6 and a third makes 2/6. So it's much easier to count those up now. We can say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total. Okay, but how do we do this numerically, especially when we have no diagram to help us? Right, well, we must use equivalent fractions. So which type of fraction will we use for this particular problem? Well, you can use what you know about lowest common multiples here. The lowest common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. So we're going to change both of those two fractions into 6. Okay, so 1/2 is equal to 3/6. So we're using multiply by 3 on top and bottom there. Okay, 1/3 is equal to 2/6. We're multiplying by the number 2 top and bottom there. So now we can add them up. 3/6 plus 2/6 gives me 5/6. So note in the final part of the problem there, we are counting 6. 3 of them plus 2 of them gives 5 of them. Okay, so the numerator changes to 5, but notice that the denominator does not change. They are still 6ths. We've just been counting 6ths. So in adding, your numerator is not going to change in that case. So the same idea applies to subtraction. To count up fractions, they must be of the same kind. Here we've got 3/4 minus 1/5. So we must change them to the same kind. So we're looking at 4 and 5 is our number, and the lowest common multiple of those two numbers is 20. So we'll change those fractions into 20ths. So our whole sum becomes this. So 3/4 became 15/20 because I multiplied top and bottom by 5. So I said to myself, how do I make 20 from 4? I multiply by 5. 1/5 becomes 4/20. Again, how do I make 5 into 20? I multiply by 4. I must do that also on the top to stay equivalent. So now my sum is 15/20ths, take away 4/20ths, equals 11/20ths. So at that stage, you're just counting 20ths. You have 15 of them, take 4 of them, leaves 11 of them. Here's another example. 3/10 plus 2/5 equals, the lowest common multiple of 5 and 10 is 10. So our sum becomes, well, the first part, there's no change on the first fraction because it's already as tenths. The second one, we're changing fifths to tenths, so we're multiplying top and bottom by 2. And now we just count up 3 tenths plus 4 tenths gives me 7 tenths. Now it's time for you to try it. Check you've understood the lesson by doing the forms quiz and practice what you've learned by doing your written exercises.